which is why Obama issued his tearful plea.
All of us need to demand a Congress brave enough to stand up to the gun lobby's lies. All of us need to stand up and protect its citizens.
Well, Craig DeLuz is not exactly a fan of gun control, and he joins us right now. Craig, what exactly did you make of Obama's address?
Well, first of all, let's just say that I think that he's got a solution looking for a problem. The reality is that he's already admitted that nothing that he's proposed today would have stopped any of the mass shootings that have taken place. When you look at the fact that even though gun sales have gone up significantly in the last 7 years, gun violence has gone down during that same period of time. So,
well, you know what doesn't make sense, I think, for many of us? 222,000 people have died in the U.S. as a result of gun violence in the last decade. That, you know, President Obama, basically, in his second term alone, this was the 994th mass murder shooting in Oregon. Now, there's a problem here, isn't there, Craig?
Well, what I would say is that there's a violence issue. You take, for example, you know, the crime statistics right there in your own country of Australia. You know, it's interesting how even though you've gotten rid of or had a significant restriction on guns, there has been no reduction in violent crime. In fact,
Craig,
shortly afterwards, violent crime went up and it spiked significantly.
We have not had a mass shooting in this country since the gun control laws were brought in by a Conservative Australian Prime Minister.
Well, see, but mass shootings represent a very, very small percentage of the number of firearm incidents or murder incidents that actually occur in the United States.
So, Craig, the Sandy Hook massacre, okay, Columbine massacre, that's cool?
Well, I'm not saying that they're cool. I think that's really disingenuous of you to try and put those kind of words in my mouth.
But how
what I will still say is this,
too many? Like,
is that mass shootings
enough,
have taken place largely. You can't ask me a question and then try to talk over me. Mass shootings have taken place largely in communities where there is strict gun control or in areas that are considered gun-free zones. Those are just the facts. All you have to do is look at the mass shootings that have taken place, and that's where they take place.
Craig, the Second Amendment was drafted to protect citizens from the government. It was a very different world. I mean, America was at war at that time, and it took over a minute to load a gun. I mean, there has to be a sense that times have changed. I know you say you can't change your Constitution. Why can't you change an amendment? It is an amendment already.
Right now, you have a president who has said that not only is he going to try and enforce the law, but he is going to ignore the Constitution and try to write law. Now, that is an example of a tyrannical government. It may not be violently tyrannical, but that's an example of a tyrannical government.
Well, it's obviously a topic that has ignited a great deal of debate and passion from both sides. We'll be watching intently. Craig, thank you very much for your time.
It's just the debate. Worth having the debate because, as Obama said, the pro-gun groups, they just twist the facts. Like, the facts are that gun crime is on the increase in the US, but they continue to just la and
every argument seems to fall down. And we're not saying take the guns away completely from everyone in the States. It's just making sure the guns don't fall into the wrong hands. And this whole thing that if people have guns and they can potentially save everyone by I've never heard, or you know, these shootings recently. That hasn't happened.
But the thing is, it's a desperate situation where there is no actually meeting place because, as you say, this stuff is fabricated. But on the other hand, it's great Obama's done this, but the fact is it's not going to stand. It's not going to stand.
No, absolutely. It's a real shame.